Well, hello, my wonderful YouTube audience members. Let me actually turn this down a bit because I don't want your drums to completely explode. Let's talk about the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Now, normally I don't typically do movie reviews on my YouTube. I've never done one before. Normally, if I see a movie and I want to talk about it, I'll just make like an Instagram reel or a tweet about it or something. But I have quite a lot of things to say about this movie. So I figured I'm just gonna dump all my thoughts out on here. I'm not going off of a script for this. I'm just gonna be talking. So the Super Mario Galaxy movie. So first, let me start off with a bit of history because I have here these are my copies of Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2, and I have had these for, I don't know, maybe like 15, 14 years. I genuinely don't know, but as you can see, I'm a big Galaxy nerd because I grew up with both of these games, and as a bonus, I'll throw in my copy of Super Mario 3D All Stars, which has Galaxy as one of the included games, and here's a Rosalina amiibo for good measure. So I'm a big fan of Galaxy. So when I heard that they were going to be doing a Galaxy movie as the sequel to the first Mario movie, I was pretty excited. And then they did all the info trailers over the things, and it was really excited. Everyone was looking forward to it. And then the film came out, and the Rotten Tomatoes score wasn't great, but uh, that it wasn't great for the first movie either, and I still had a good time with that. And then some reviews were coming out for it from not only like letterbox reviews, but also like random Twitter users and YouTubers and all that. And they had a lot more complaints about this movie than I was anticipating, to be quite honest with you. I found it very interesting that like there were people that were like making all these complaints, and they were saying like some were even calling it like a bad movie. And so I hadn't seen the movie yet because I was busy with other things in my life, but I finally got around to seeing the movie. And so I'm gonna be giving my thoughts on the movie and just kind of talking about it with y'all. And for full transparency, I am a terrible like movie reviewer in terms of like what I judge to be a good movie or a bad movie. I mean, I think Ghostbusters 2 is a pretty decent follow-up, and I also think that Shrek the Third has some funny jokes here and there. So, uh if you want to click off now, be my guest. And also, I will be getting into spoilers for this movie. Because I feel like a good chunk of what I have to talk about is spoilery. So if you have not seen the movie, I highly recommend you go do that and then come back to this video. In fact, I'll actually give you a couple of seconds to go turn it off and go watch it. You watched it? Great, let's talk about it. Okay, so for starters, let's talk about the pacing because that was one of my biggest issues with the original Mario movie is that it felt like it kind of just flew by completely. And what I mean by that is that it felt like I was in my seat for like 20, 30 minutes. And the movie was like your standard hour and a half film. And it just kind of flew by. And I was like, that's kind of it. Because like I enjoyed what the movie offered, but it also felt like it could have been a lot longer. It could have felt longer. And so when the Galaxy movie was coming out, I was hoping maybe they would fix the pacing issue. Maybe they would come up with some kind of way to like maybe I don't know like extend the runtime, but maybe pace things out a little bit better. And now that I've seen the movie, I can confidently say that I think the pacing is improved, just to a certain extent. I guess theoretically it's weird because I think there were some people with the original they were talking about like how certain scenes could be cut. I personally didn't notice that with the original movie. Like I thought it was paced like there was no real scenes that they should have cut. But here I feel like there were kind of a couple scenes that they could cut. One scene that was kind of annoying was the Rob the Robot like thing, because Rob the Robot, he makes a cameo in the movie, and Princess Peach and Toad, like they ask like how do you get to the like I guess flight terminal thing or whatever. And Rob's like, it's right over here. And it's really slow because that's what the actual Rob the robot was like that slow. He actually moved. He moved that slow. And and then like I guess he gets interrupted and then they like do it again. And like to me I feel like they didn't need to do it a second time. I feel like the first time they did it was perfectly fine, and it feels like the second time they did it they just did it because they wanted like a ha ha funny kind of thing. But yeah. And then there were like a few other like bits here and there that I feel like could have been improved. But overall I would say the pacing, to me at least, it was much better compared to the original Mario movie. Um, so let's talk about the story because the story was really interesting. So basically, the story is that Rosalina, as you can see, she gets kidnapped by Bowser Jr. because he wants to kind of take over the galaxy, and she's like the protector of the galaxy. So Bowser Jr. like captures her, and then like one of the Lumas, like because another Luma was captured alongside her, and like she managed to free her and said go get help, and so she went to the Mushroom Kingdom and found Princess Peach, the Luma, and basically said, "Hey, my mama, who's Rosalina, got captured. I need someone to come help free her." And so Peach and Toad set out to go help Luma, while initially Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi, because Yoshi, they at the very beginning of the movie they find and rescue a wild Yoshi. They take on the duty of like I guess temporary protectors, if that makes any sense. And so they're kind of doing that, and then eventually though Bowser Jr. I guess finds them and lifts like much like Galaxy 1 lifts the Princess Peach's castle up into the galaxy and then drops them off on I assume the Honey Hive Galaxy because that's where the Queen Bee is. And yeah, so they do that, and then eventually like they're kind of on separate missions, like Princess Peach and Toad are on one thing, Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi are on another thing, and they also bring initially like a smaller sized Bowser with them because like the castle was because at the end of the last movie he ate a tiny mushroom, and so he's like tiny now, and he has to, and so like I guess to keep an eye out on him they kind of take him with, but eventually Mario gets mad, punches him, which causes him to take damage. And as we all know, in Mario, once you take damage, you lose your power up, so he's no longer, I guess, mute. And then like they kind of tease that he's going to have a change of heart, but he kind of does. So this is a part of the story that I have a problem with. So basically, the whole idea is that Bowser Jr. is like taking over the galaxy, doing all this, doing all that, because he wants to please his father. And there's like a flashback scene where like Bowser's telling the story of like the like galaxy that they came up with, and Jr. wanted to honor his father, so he did all this for years because apparently they hadn't seen each other in years, and so he like built his own galaxy and like captured all this to like prove to his dad that like he can do these things. And like my initial thought, what I thought would have been really interesting was like because before that like Bowser wanted to like kind of my idea was that, oh, Bowser is going to go with Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi to like go after his son, and maybe Bowser will talk some sense to him and be like, "Listen, kid, you can't. I love you, but you can't do this. Like, destroy the whole world, because then there's gonna be no world left to conquer." I thought that would have been what would happen, but no. Bowser like gets like captured by Bowser Jr. Like he frees him because the Honey Hive Galaxy, the queen of the Honey Hive Galaxy, the Honeybee Queen, she sends him to like work in like repair the planet, I guess, and then he gets like freed, and then they talk it out, and like they kind of talk it out, and like there's like one scene where Bowser's like, listen, son, I know they're kind of losers, but I think they're cool. Like they're kind of cool, and he's like, oh, well, you don't want to kill them? Okay, we'll do something else, and then that's it. Nothing else. Like he just goes back to being like like evil, and I thought that was kind of a missed opportunity. I felt like you could have done a lot more. You could have like had the like issue of oh, Bowser wants make his son happy, but at the same time, he kind of also has a certain respect for Mario and the gang. So like I thought that could have been interesting, but they don't really do anything with that, unfortunately. Um, so let's talk a little about our characters. I mentioned the Honey Queen, and they had announced her voice actor, but they had not shown footage. And needless to say, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know why they even announced her voice actor involved because she has like 3 or 4 lines in the movie. Like I'm serious, like three or four lines in like one scene, and then that's it. We never see her again. And it just makes me wonder, like, why didn't you just like? I'm not saying like that's necessarily a bad thing, but like they announced her voice actor was like a celebrity, and they were barely in the movie, and then and so that was kind of a bit weird. But speaking of being barely in the movie, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, unfortunately. Rosalina is only in the movie. That was the one criticism that I had heard before I seen the movie. Rosalina was barely in the movie, and now that I have seen it, this is the one thing where I'm going to have to agree with the greater internet. Rosalina should have been in the movie more. Especially since she was voiced by Brie Larson, and Brie Larson like apparently was like super enthusiastic to do the part, and but like she's barely in the movie. And like on the one hand, I understand like the whole thing is like they have to rescue Rosalina, but at the same time, it's like the Galaxy games, like mainly Super Mario Galaxy One, this one right here, like that. The whole idea is that Rosalina is helping Mario to rescue Peach and all that. And like we kind of they didn't in the first movie they didn't really do the kidnapping Princess Peach plotline until like the very end. And and it kind of felt a little weird, but like I felt like the Galaxy movie, this could be like the time to do like to do the traditional Peach getting kidnapped story, and the gang has to go save her, and Rosalina could be like a help and like an actual character. But unfortunately, she's not, which is a bit of a shame. Um, so because like I feel because like the scenes that she was in, I really enjoyed. Like I think like the opening was really great, and I think she proved that she's like as much as a as like kind of a badass as like I think Nintendo wanted them to. And yeah, so it is kind of disappointing that she's not in it more, but maybe those third Mario movie, who knows? Um then there's what other characters are there? Oh yeah, so this movie is really where Mario and Luigi get to shine as brothers. Because in the last movie, Luigi was the one that Bowser kidnapped, and then Mario, Peach, and Toad had to go like save him. But so like I was honestly fine with that, mainly because like they already spent like an amount of time off screen knowing each other, so they already had that chemistry. But like this is a great time for Mario and Luigi to actually be together and like do a mission together, and they do, and I think it works really well. And I think they have lots of great scenes together. And Yoshi is a part of their trio too, because they find a Yoshi and he does Yoshi things like he eats things, he helps out in when keeping an eye on the kingdom while Peach is away for a few scenes, and even plays a critical role in getting them to not become babies because so I saw the trailer and there was a scene where Mario and Luigi were babies, and I'm like, why are they babies? Like, is there like a certain thing that happens? Apparently, they Bowser Jr. has like this weapon that can like age or de-age someone, and he fires it at Mario and Luigi, and they turn into babies, and they're just babies for like a couple minutes, and that's kind of weird. I don't. I personally believe that Hollywood as a has a bit of a baby problem, and I feel like it wasn't really necessary. I feel like you could have cut it and lost nothing. But I guess the babies were like playing with like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and kids love dinosaurs, and adults will look at the babies and go, "Oh, that's cute." So that's there. And speaking of the Tyrannosaur, I have to wonder if they referenced Jurassic World Rebirth, because there's I haven't seen the movie, but there's a scene in the movie where like the T-Rex is sleeping in the grass, and here there's a scene where the T-Rex is sleeping in the grass, and it's Universal Studios, so obviously the T-Rex literally sounds like the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. And because it's Universal, they don't have to pay like anything for that. But like yeah, I have to wonder if it was just coincidence or like if that was like just an intentional reference, especially since that movie isn't even a year old at this point. It came out in like summer last year. So here's that. Animation wise, I think the animation is why am I talking about animation? I need to talk about Fox McCloud because there's Star Fox in this, which is shocking. There was Pikmin in it, obviously, but Pikmin's kind of like a fun little like Easter egg thing, and there's like a scene where like they play like the Pikmin whistle and they come out of this spaceship, and that's cute. But Fox McCloud has a decent role in the movie, and it's really interesting because they explain like the Star Fox like lore, like he's like the captain of like the group with like Falco and Copper Hair and Slippy, and like he was like this great pilot, and then like the way he got into it's like it's separate universe, and the way he got into the Mario universe was like there was like this gravitational pull that sucked him into the Mario universe and all that, and apparently like they even make a joke of like Slippy, who's like the green toad of the Star Fox universe. They just straight up used a screenshot of Star Fox 64, by the way, like the talking like animation of like the portraits that they like when the characters talk. They just straight up used that from Star Fox 64. And I have to wonder if that was just a direct screenshot that they put into editing, because if that was pretty funny. But yeah, Fox was I really enjoyed Fox. There was a scene where Fox McCloud and Mario kind of looked at each other angrily for a couple seconds, and then like they compliment each other as kind of like a haha, just kidding. But I have to wonder, and this is a whole other discussion that I don't want to get into deep about right now, but I have to wonder if it's in any relation to the idea of there being a Smash Brothers movie. And again, I don't want to go into it here. I actually recommend watching Shay Fearless Productions. He has a whole video on why a Smash Brothers movie is kind of a bad idea, and I wholeheartedly agree with that movie. And because of especially when you consider the fact that the Zelda movie is going to be a live action movie, and this is like an animated thing, and like there's all this, and like the idea of like an animate made in live action thing like combining together, that just seems weird. So like I personally think it's just kind of a bad idea, and I would personally just stick to having Nintendo movies like be in their own sort of thing. Like the Star Fox thing, I think you could get away with because Star Fox, like again, it's like a like they talk about how it's a separate thing, and Star Fox has like a similar tone to Mario in terms of things. Zelda's a lot more serious. I feel like if you were to take the the Zelda the Zelda like style of storytelling, it wouldn't really fit like this kind the Mario kind of thing. But that's just me. So feel free to disagree with me, but I personally am not again. I am not for a Smash movie. So those are all the characters. There's no Donkey Kong does make a brief cameo, like he has like a couple seconds on screen, but I'm pretty sure it's just like reused like from the first movie that Seth Rogen recorded, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it is new. It was probably recorded for the first movie, and they just had the outtake, and so they put it in. So he's there. I know for a fact there are heavy rumors that they're going to do a Donkey Kong animated movie at Illumination. So, and I 100% agree with that because I feel like Donkey Kong is another series that could carry itself on its own. So there's no other than that brief cameo, there's no Donkey Kong in this. So I'm sorry for all you Seth Rogen DK fans out there, but might want to skip this one out. So now let's talk about the animation, because I think the animation is pretty good. I wanted to see this movie on an IMAX screen, but unfortunately, like the nearest one from me is like a half an hour drive, and or like an hour drive, and I just did not want to drive that long for just a screening of one movie. So I just saw it at my local theater. But even on the normal screen, I think it looked incredible. It looked pretty on par with the first movie. There wasn't really any like major improvement from the first movie, but the first movie already looked really good, so I highly doubt there was anything that they could have done. Apparently, this is one of Illumination's most expensive movies. I think it had a budget of like $100 million. So like, if you know animation, Illumination, they're typically known for producing cheap, cheaper movies because like because they want to see like a profit on their stuff, and like you can't really fault them for it as a businessman. Like in this day and age where like animation movies are like constantly bombing at the box office, like they are like the ones that have never had a bomb because they make their movies kind of on the lower end. But the Mario movies are clearly an exception to that, and it 100% shows. The animation, I think, is really stellar. And voice acting, honestly, I don't want to get too deep into it. The same problems that I think people had with the voices from the first movie are probably similar here. Brie Larson, I think, does a decent job as Rosalina, as I said, but Donald Glover is Yoshi, and I'm gonna be honest, I feel like they could have been a really funny moment where like he started speaking in his normal voice and then went back to just saying Yoshi. But Donald Glover's Yoshi, and that is just really weird to me. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. Um, yeah, animate overall, voice acting and animation are fine enough. There are lots of Nintendo references to so many things. There's not only is there Pikmin and Star Fox and Rob the Robot, but there's also like tons of Mario stuff. Like there's Mario 2 stuff in there, like Wart's in there, Birdo, Mouser, I think his name is. There's references to the Nintendo 64. The Nintendo 64 logos in there. There's references to like both Galaxy games. There's a references to Odyssey. There's references to Sunshine. The Piantas are in there. There's even references to they even referenced the dragon that was in that one kingdom in Odyssey, like the realistic looking dragon. That's in this movie too, believe it or not. And like it's definitely, to me it seems they're more focused on Mario references in this, other than Star Fox and Pikmin and Rob. They're more focused on Mario references, whereas the first movie kind of referenced a bunch of Nintendo stuff. Like they had like Punch Out and Duck Hunt and uh Kid Icarus. So like that's interesting to see. I do have to wonder if they're going to reference things like Zelda or Metroid in the future, depending on if Nintendo wants to give those movies. I'm going to be waiting for the day they reference the Splatoon movie. I'm not Splatoon movie, the Splatoon series, because I'm a big fan. What can I say? They referenced Mario Maker 2, which is interesting. There's scene where they showcase like the 2D like Mario Bros. 1 style, and they're like at placing blocks like in Mario Maker, and one of the things they make is a saw blade that swings back and forth. That is not a thing in Mario Maker, but between this and the recent level deletions and like a new 2D sprite for Rosalina, I do have to wonder if they are working on Mario Maker 3. Fingers crossed they are. Um but yeah, so there's lots of references for people. And now I want to talk about the thing that honestly made me want to make this a long form video and not just a standard like Instagram reel or tweet. And that is the fact that this movie confirms that Princess Peach and Princess Rosalina are you ready for this? Three, two, one. They're sisters. I don't know how to feel about this because there's nothing in these two games that indicates that they are related at all. Like I know Matt Pat actually, it's funny, Matt Pat Game Theory, he actually did a theory video where he talked about the idea that Princess Peach and Princess Rosalina were related. And like I'm not gonna like diss Matt Pat or anything, and I do think he probably did. It's been a while since I've seen that video, but he did bring up a few good points. But like it's just a fan theory. It's just like a fun haha thing. But no, it's no longer a theory, at least in the movies. It's officially canon. So I'm kind of confused because it's like they build up the idea of like Peach not knowing who she is. Like Peach gets a lot of screen time in this movie, which is kind of insane. They build up the idea that she's does like has no idea who she is or where she came from, and then she sees like she hears about Rosalina and she just like has this thing where like, oh my, I remember this person. And then when they get to the Comet Observatory, which is where Rosalina lives with all the Lumas, she finds Rosalina's storybook, and like she learns all about like how they were sisters. Peaches was the younger sister to Rosalina, but like the galaxy there was like some force that attacked, and she sent uh uh Peach away, and then and like they had like some kind of mystical connection to each other. And I'm just like, this if like I'm just kind of confused because like this the idea that they're related just kind of it makes my mind go kind of numb, if that makes any sense. It's like you have these two characters that have been around. Well, Rosalina's been around for 19 years because the first Galaxy game came out in 2007, and Peach has been around since the 80s or whatever. But like you have these two characters, and there's never been any indication in the games that they're related. We know that they're princesses, and they both have blue hair and blue eyes and blonde hair, and they rule different kingdoms. But overall, like, there's never been any confirmation that like they came from the same place. Rosalina has never suggested it. Obviously, the storybook was a thing, and it did have a story about like Peach and whatnot, but like that could have been just like she's like an all-seeing eye. So like I don't know what to I don't know what to think about this. Like, should I be like find it kind of cool? Should I find it kind of disgusting? Because like they kind of are related. Like, I don't know. I really don't know. And I have to like sit on it for quite a while because I just it baffles my mind on so many levels as to what this could actually mean. And yeah, I just don't know because like there's again there's never been any info throughout the games or this or any game that like they're in that like they were related, and now the movie all of a sudden's like, no, they are related. Rosalina and Peach, yep, they're related. And that actually leads into the fact that there is a end credit scene. After the credits, there's one final scene, and it features another princess. You probably know who it is. It's Princess Daisy of Sarasalan, or where, and she makes like a 2 second thing, and I assume she's probably going to have a bigger role in the third movie. And I'm just kind of like, uh, uh, is she? Are they gonna make them all related? Like, is Princess Daisy gonna be related to Peach and Rosalina now? Are they like sisters? Are they gonna do some fun things together? Like, I don't know. Like, I just like there was never like I always just assumed that they were like girlfriends, like mean girls or whatever, and they would just hang out together. But like apparently no, they are like long. They're Peach and Rosalina are long lost sisters, and that's just really flexing to me. Um, and yeah, I just don't know what to think. Um, yeah, so I have no words. But yeah, that's kind of all I really wanted to talk about in terms of the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Thank you for listening to me ramble for almost half an hour. I know it's I might not have the best voice in the world, but I try. So yeah, so to end this video off, I'm going to play a clip from the Sam and Max cartoon that aired on Fox Kids in 1997 because I think that cartoon is underrated, and it's really funny, and I think even you should go watch it. The whole thing's free on YouTube. So I'll play a clip from that. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys again soon. So, bye bye.
Say, that reminds me. Feeling lightheaded, kids? Are you suffering the ill effects of too many fast-paced, hard-sell, in-your-face adverts designed to compete for your parents' hard-earned dollar? Well, you're not alone!
The folks in programming are sympathetic to your plight, and as such, have agreed to present today's episode in its entirety without any commercials at all.
You heard right, gang. One whole episode of Sam and Max without commercial interruptions of any